The Marine Corps is now without a confirmed commandant and a possible new NATO member. All of that and more today, July 11th, 2023. Good morning, early birds. I'm Simone Perez, and this is the Early Bird Brief, produced by Defense News and Military Times. First up, Sweden may be one step closer to NATO membership. Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan agreed to send Sweden's ascension protocol for joining NATO to its parliament as soon as possible. Stoltenberg made the announcement just one day before the alliance's summit in Lithuania after talks with Erdogan and Swedish Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson. Objections from Turkey have held up Sweden's NATO ascension since last year. Earlier yesterday, Turkey's president said he wanted to have stronger support from NATO partners on Turkey joining the European Union, but a spokesperson from the EU said that Turkey could not tie the two processes together. The NATO summit starts today, and President Joe Biden and his NATO counterparts are expected to focus on ensuring that Ukraine has support as long as the conflict continues. In a news briefing, Stoltenberg said Ukraine will eventually become a member of NATO, but not right now.
It is for the allies and Ukraine to decide when the time is right to invite Ukraine to be a full member. The most urgent task now is to ensure that Ukraine prevails as a sovereign and independent nation in Europe, because unless Ukraine prevails, then there is no membership issue to be discussed at all.
They're also expected to discuss how to bring the country even closer to NATO without it actually joining, and security guarantees for Kyiv to ensure that Russia doesn't invade again after the war ends. Another important story, Assistant Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Eric Smith, is now serving as the acting commandant. A relinquishment ceremony for Commandant of the Marine Corps, General David Berger, was held at Marine Barracks in Washington yesterday.
I'm grateful for all the Marines I got to serve alongside. This is a privilege.
A timeline for Smith's confirmation is unclear. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville has placed a hold on senior military nominees over his objections to the Defense Department's abortion policy. But by law, an acting commandant has the same powers and duties as a commandant. Senator Tuberville's hold could impact confirmation for nominees to serve as the president's top military advisors, too. Today, Air Force General C.Q. Brown is slated for a hearing with the Senate Armed Services Committee for his nomination to serve as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Tomorrow, General Randy George is slated for a hearing with the committee to become the Army Chief of Staff. In other news, the 82nd Airborne Division All-American Chorus is performing a song on tonight's episode of America's Got Talent.
This was actually put together by our commander. We had just finished a large TDY where we did the, what is it called?
The Today Show.
The Today Show in New York City. And we got back and we were just going over how everything went with the trip. And he pulls out this piece of paper and he says, look, we have this opportunity that may or may not present itself. And we just wanted to know who would be interested in doing something like this. And we were all just like, okay, well, what is it? Is it going to be another show, or, are we traveling somewhere else? And he said, no, it's America's Got Talent. They want us to audition. And we said, absolutely, we're not going to turn this down. So I think everybody was super excited to just be put up on this platform. And we didn't know what would come from it. And we still don't know what's going to come from it. But we're just super blessed to have the opportunity.
Their performance will be dedicated to a member of the chorus that lost their life. Be sure to tune in. Also on the radar for today, the Marine Corps' senior enlisted leader will become the senior enlisted leader of the whole U.S. military. Sergeant Major Troy Black will take the role of senior enlisted advisor to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff in November. According to a Pentagon news release last week, that's when Air Force Chief Master Sergeant Ramon Colon Perez is set to retire from that role. The current chairman, Army General Mark Milley, reportedly made the selection. According to his official bio, Black enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1988 and became a machine gunner. He has made several deployments, including to Iraq and Afghanistan. Black will be the fifth person and the second Marine to serve as senior enlisted advisor to the chairman, which the role was created in 2005. And now here are some other stories that we're hearing chirps about. The Pentagon said a U.S. drone killed an Islamic State group leader in Syria hours after the same MQ-9 Reaper drones were harassed by Russian military jets over the western part of the country. In case you missed it, the White House said Friday the last of the United States' declared chemical weapons stockpile was destroyed at a sprawling military installation in eastern Kentucky. According to the first independent statistical analysis of Russia's war dead, nearly 50,000 Russians have reportedly died in the war in Ukraine. And on this day in history, in 1995, 2 decades after the fall of Saigon, President Bill Clinton established full diplomatic relations with Vietnam. He cited Vietnamese cooperation in accounting for Americans still listed as missing in the Vietnam War. That's it for us this morning. To get more top stories and breaking news, go to defensenews.com/EBB to subscribe to the Early Bird Brief newsletter. Please give us a like, rating, and a comment wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to follow us on social media. That's at @defense_news and at Military Times. The Early Bird Brief is hosted and produced by me, Zimone Z. Perez. Today's episode features stories by the Associated Press, myself, and Irene Lowenson. Our editor-in-chief is Mike Gruss. Have a great day.